and talk to me.
Check, 1, 2.
Yo.
Yep.
If you guys can bring your, you bring your.
Yeah.
But ideally, you want to make sure that you're talking. I know it sounds super obvious, but just make sure that when you're talking into the microphone.
All right, but
So it's Rich Fee or Rich
Fi.
Rich Fi. Like Fee 544.
Like fee 544.
Rich Fi.
One last thing, clap. But I like that.
Oh yeah, it's a new one. It's a new one. It's a new one. They hooked me up. I gotta talk about them too. Yeah, he says he's doing a podcast soon too.
Who?
Rich.
Oh, word?
Yeah, I'm gonna start up. I had an audio podcast a couple years ago, but before COVID, got to be too much with the editing.
Mm-hmm.
Tattooers say wild shit.
Oh, word.
Tattooers would say some wild shit, and I would have to edit it down.
Wait, before you start again, it's Fi, right?
Fi.
I always get people's names mixed. What the fuck? Like, am I stupid or something? Because he'll tell me, and I'll say the wrong thing.
That'd be difficult, man. That's why I'm glad I'm not a host.
Jeez. So I'm saying like your last name, like in my head, like Fi. Because I easily say the wrong thing. They be like,
What do
no.
you think about like pizza pie? P-I-E. Pie. F-I-E. Pie.
Yeah, Fi. Yeah, I gotta get some new tattoos soon. These are old. I get some work.
Where'd you get all these tattoos at?
All over the place.
Yep.
All over the place. All through my travels.
You born and raised out here?
Yeah.
New York City?
My family from Brazil. All of the setup.
You ever had the other Josh do a session?
No. I don't. That's a young kid?
Yeah.
I don't like him. What's wrong with him?
Like, you've met him before?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Keep him away from me.
I've heard of more than a few.
He's just like, he's different. Like, you and Walter, different vibe. Like, he's just like one of those, he's a weird kid.
It's funny.
Yeah. Oh, so he messed up the damn.
I mean, it's not the end of it. I mean, I can record you without it, but it allows me to deliver the files.
Oh, yes, definitely get that. There you go.
And I don't have anybody immediately following. I hate starting a because of me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from?
Queens.
You're from Queens? Okay.
Yeah, born and raised.
We're out in Queens.
Originally from Jamaica Ave, and then I wound up on like in like the Ozone Park,
Okay.
South Side border,
Mm.
like by Rockaway Boulevard.
Yeah.
You're from Queens?
No, I'm originally from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is right outside.
Yeah, I know Cherry Hill well. They used to have strangely enough, they used to have the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention was every year. It was a wild, wild thing.
Yeah.
What was that right there? The Ben Franklin Bridge?
Yeah.
There's a hotel right on the side.
Okay.
They're like right there, and they used to
Yeah.
have the Philly Tattoo Convention in that. Like
Philly's a wild place.
Philly is a wild place.
I tell that to everybody. People thought, I don't know, it was weird. People from that area, when I told them I was moving to New York, that's I was like, I was just like, I mean, and it's not to say that you don't see some wild shit in New York, but really got that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Philly right before the pandemic, and it felt like New York in the '90s. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Is that crazy?
Yeah, Philly.
yeah, dude, I was with a smoking fucking homeless dude, and you know what I mean, hit him because the guy was, you know, he was just like he ran up on us.
Yeah. Homeless people down there are like a lot more like just like to be honest, it's like I don't really think of homeless people like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like I guess New York's kind of getting like that too, where you just have like you know emotionally disturbed people or whatever, like out in the street. You know what I mean? I guess there's no place for them to go.
Yeah.
Homie I had I went to high school with, there was he was mad normal, and at like age like 19, he just went schizophrenic, and he's just like the dude that walks up and down the avenue now. Like I try to give him bread every day, but like he got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And then they put him in the shelter. That he'll stay there for a day. They'll put him back on his meds, but he could sign himself out. So then they bounce, and then you know what I mean, like
yeah. It's just nobody really knows what the fuck to do.
Nah,
I mean, there's just like I feel like no one's really got. I mean, there are people that have some decent answers, but I don't feel like there's a one size fits all, like case by case.
It's a case by case, yeah.
My wife, not so much now, but she used to work like directly. She was like one of those like new school social workers that goes out with police.
All right.
And pretty much like if there's a mentally disturbed person or whatever, as opposed to instead of the police engaging with them, like she's the person that engages like that. Really, like the police are there more just for her security,
right.
In case shit gets kind of crazy. So I'm not trying to say that they don't have no purpose being there or anything like that, but there's far too many cases people just getting killed for where it's clear that they have a mental illness. Like the police just ain't equipped to equipped to handle that shit.
Yeah, and I mean, not to get political or something like that, but at some point, it's like now the cops are just like, it's become like, oh, I want to go home too.
Yeah.
Well, then don't take that fucking job then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the shop manager, like he was a young kid. We had him running around the shop at the tattoo shop. And he had some problems, and he went home. He was like 19, 20 years old. He went home. His mom's was like, you can't be in the house if you're drinking. You can't, you know what I mean? Like you can't be, it's kind of like kicking him out of the house, and he wouldn't leave. She called the cops on him. They hit him. They hit him 19 times. They killed him like it was no fucking thing.
Yeah, and it's like,
you know what I mean? Like it's a kid getting kicked. It's a nerdy kid getting kicked out of his mom's house.
Yeah, like
why'd you kill the dude?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
was not that serious.
Like, nah, they were like, oh, we felt we were in danger. Like I know this kid for mad long. I know she's just a little kid. Like you can fight this dude with one hand tied behind your back, hopping on one leg. You know what I mean? This dude was not dangerous. He had a knife.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm like, come on. I'm like, if you, I mean, like, not that I find myself in a ton of crazy situations, whatever, but it's like I've seen people that I wasn't really. I mean, like, okay, it's a situation, but I wasn't like fearing for my life. Like, I wasn't feeling like if I had a gun, like I wouldn't be like, okay, maybe I might show it to him, but I'm probably not shooting nobody. Like, it's not that crazy. Same thing with like that woman I'm just gonna sync it up later. It's not gonna take me that.
Hopefully it's not like where you see the voice, the thing moving, but the delay, it's like a delay.
Oh, there's always been a delay.
Yeah.
There's always been a delay on that, but there won't be a delay on the audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do here now that we're sound checked or whatever, if you're ready, I'm just gonna do a clap and then I'll sync it up with my clap. So.
Oh, okay.
Phones are on silent. And you guys,
Come on, Vine. Welcome to the 2P Podcast, episode 39. It is I, Polo Parata, back with another episode with another guest.
Sure.
You know, I met him at Danny Cortez, the guy I managed. He did a show. Was that Greenpoint or Williamsburg?
Williamsburg.
It was in Williamsburg, and this is actually the artist of the actual the poster, the flyer of the event, Mr. Rich Fee. Five. See, got it wrong.
I mean,
God damn it.
We only went over 15,000.
You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that.
I've been getting that shit since I was a little kid.
I've been doing podcasts for nearly 4 years, and I fuck up everybody's name.
Nah. And every time when I was a kid in school, in grammar school and shit like that, like the teacher would say Rich Fee, and I would say Phi, and then they would go Fee, Phi, Fo, Fum.
Yeah, and that's what I had in my head. But then the thing that hits your brain first is what you say. So it just kept on like spinning. But anyway, how you doing, brother?
Chilling, bro.
Yeah, I haven't seen you for like what was that, 3 weeks ago? Or?
Yeah, that event was cool. Like
yeah.
I was hyped on being included in that.
Mm-hmm. So tell the people what you do. I mean, I know what you do, so you tell the people what you do.
I'm a tattoo artist. I also do a little bit of art, like that graffiti type shit. But my main gig is a tattoo artist for about 20 years in Queens.
Mm-hmm. And what? So you said you basically do the art, like the graffiti stuff, like on the side, or
I really started doing. I did graffiti and stuff like that before I was a tattooer. Like that's how I got into art. I grew up doing hip hop production and punk rock. I was in a lot of punk rock bands and hardcore bands when I was growing up. So I would always be the guy who did the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Plus I would do, I was writing my name on the wall. Everybody wants to write the name on the wall in New York City. So I did that, and then I pushed that into winding up having a career in art as a tattooer. And then when COVID hit, they put us out for 5 months, and then when they put us out for 5 months, I started doing some other art because I finally had a break. I mean, I love tattooing. It's literally my whole life. Right. But, I was doing some tattoo art to pay the bills as far as like selling art, not actually tattooing people. I didn't tattoo nobody during the shutdown. But then as I had some time, I started doing some other art, and I try to, I'm very, very, very set in stone in the traditional tattoo world. Like that's the style I do. So I started trying to bring, after COVID, like I kind of used it as a reset, and started trying to bring some of my street shit into my tattoo shit.
Mm-hmm. And so do you think, to a certain extent, COVID helped you? It's like expand your
COVID, I mean,
repertoire.
I think it fucked me up in a. Can I curse on you?
Of course.
Right.
I cursed 5 seconds in.
Making sure. It fucked me up in a lot of ways, but in certain ways it helped. Like I think it definitely helped me professionally, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, it made some messes in my life, but professionally, it definitely helped me.
Yeah. So that was so that's how you got the gig to do the flyer for the art show?
No, I tattooed that dude.
Oh, okay.
I tattooed the dude that runs I didn't want to put up a painting on Instagram for sale.
Right.
And he hit me with that he wanted to buy it. Then when he said, this was going to fit perfect, and I'm doing this New York thing with and he was telling me all about the art show. He's like, this is going to fit perfect. He goes, why don't you include a couple more paintings? Plus, you know, it's going to be the one that he bought plus a couple more. And then it kind of like last minute, he put that together super fast.
Right.
At last minute, he was like, yo, I need somebody to help me with the flyer. I was like, yeah, bet I got you.
You know, how long that took you to do? It didn't take you that long.
You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
Like less than 10 minutes.
Sheesh. See, I know a lot of artists, and it amazes me how quick you guys can just be like visualize and then conceptualize on the.
Yeah. That being said, like that's true, but like you don't know how much junk we also put out.
Right.
Like there's 10 minutes where I did this junk in 10 minutes. I did this junk in 10 minutes. Like
Right.
I do all these things in 10 minutes, and then one actually like I do it in 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, that's actually dope. But that particular flyer was kind of, I was already in that mindset because I was already doing some art in that, you know, with the buildings and everything like that. So that particular flyer, I was kind of just like a play off of what the art I was doing for the show.
Yeah, man, because that's a dope little flyer.
It was crazy to be included with all that, like just some heavy hitting.
Yeah, man. But man, you did your thing, man. But what I was gonna say, so with your tattoos, like you have like original artwork that you do for your tattoos, or is it just people bring you stuff most of the time? You just copy it.
I pretty much work almost exclusively in like the traditional style. So, I have like a line of where I come from in tattooing. It's like I'm pretty much have direct lines back to like some real OG New York City shit. So, because tattooing, you know, electric tattooing started in New York City.
Right.
A lot of people don't even know that 1897, that's where it started. So, I have a lot of direct lineage to a lot of those OG guys. So I kind of just carry the torch, and I usually do mostly traditional style. I do draw some of my own stuff if somebody asks me, but what I'm known for is doing redoing the stuff that came before me.
Right.
Like, you know, the classics. I'm very much all about classics.
Yeah, because I've seen your work. I told you, I know one of your customers. He said you've done a lot of work on him.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Josh.
Yeah, he's Josh. You know, shout out Josh. But he said he had his knuckles done. You did his knuckles or something like that.
Yo, a lot of people actually come to me for lettering too.
He showed them to me. I was like, wow, because mine is faded. I got mine last year and they're already.
Yeah, that's a funny spot.
Dunzino.
It's a funny spot, the hands. That's why a lot of times we don't even tattoo people's hands and necks because it ain't gonna hold.
Yeah, because you're using them so much, it just fades.
I think I heard yesterday somebody was talking about it, and they said that the skin on your hands regenerates 10 times faster than any other part of your body because it's always washed. You know what I mean? You wash your hands 20 times more than you wash your body.
Right.
Hopefully.
He said hopefully. Yeah, that's right. So let's talk about your merch too, because you do merch. I mean, I know you have T-shirts. I guess you sold out because I saw you was out selling them.
I was outside.
Yeah, he's outside.
I was outside with the.
He's like, yo, come get them
at that block party that they just did at Bushwick.
Yeah.
I sold out the T-shirts. I do. I got this logo, which is like this rotten apple. Shout out to my guys, Hottest in the City, which is there were two kids I shouldn't say kids. There were two men that I tattoo.
Right.
And they had said that they wanted to start a clothing company. I was tattooing them. They said they wanted to start a clothing company. I said, yo, I did a shirt like 10 years ago. I did a Rest in Peace New York City shirt because I felt like New York was really changing for, you know, it was getting all the hipsters or whatever were coming in. You know, I was like one of those angry, like native New Yorkers, you know? So I did like this Rest in Peace New York City shirt, real New York, Rest in Peace, real New York. And for some reason, it caught on. You know what I mean? There was people were hitting me for this shirt like crazy. Like I was making hundreds of copies of this shirt, and it was like a full-time job. I was like, I'm not going to do this ever again.
Right.
Because like, you know, you send somebody a medium, they're supposed to be a large. It was like a full-time job. I was like, I'm not going to do this. So two dudes from this Hottest in the City, they told me they wanted to start a clothing line. I told them that same story I just told you. They hit me later on that day, like, listen, we really want to start a clothing line. You have all the artwork. Why don't we run your clothing line? So they chose off some of my designs off of my tattoo flash, the rotten apple with the gold teeth being one, and they pretty much run it. I'm outside with it sometimes if I'm, but the whole website. Shout out to them. And if you like hip hop music, one of the dudes, Marcel Allen, who does the merch with me, is one of the illest MCs I ever heard.
Gotta look out for him.
Marcel Allen.
Shout out. But yeah, because I see so what you have t-shirts, you have hats.
We just do drops, like we'll just do the snapbacks and the bucket hats. I pretty much always have, but like we'll just do drops. We'll make like 100 shirts, 100 sweatshirts, and then we'll drop it. And it usually sells out in the day.
So it's like limited edition.
Yeah, it usually sells out in the day.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, because you don't need too much. You know what I'm saying? Like you just need enough. Just to, like,
I ain't the Gap.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I just I'll make 100 shirts and that way it sells out. It's people got it. It's exclusive. And we did a I Love New York shirt. I think there might have been a couple of those left on the website, but we did a Welcome to Fear City shirt, like the old pamphlets from the 70s about New York. We had like a Grim Reaper on it. Those things sold out in like less than an hour.
Right.
We sold like.
So you got an audience now, like.
We got an audience for it. Yeah, it's going pretty good.
So they're looking for. So what do you do? Sporadic drops, or do you do like?
Yeah, we just sporadic. You know what I mean? Like we would try to like. We were planning on doing one for. I think we dropped the Fear City one because it had Grim Reaper. I think we dropped it on Halloween. We were talking about doing another one on 420, but we missed it. You know what I mean? We were going to do one more, like, I don't know, gorilla smoking weed or something. And but we missed that drop, so probably going to drop something in like July or August.
Like 4th of July, stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe like, keep it on like all day or something.
Nah, that's dope, man. But so what is your, since you said New York was dead back then, what do you think about New York now? I'm just curious.
I mean, I love, like, they always say that, like, people got, like, 3 true loves in their life. New York City is always going to be, like, my number 1 true love. Like, I love the city, and I don't hate what it's become, but it's funny to me sometimes just because I'm 47 years old, so I seen New York go through a lot of changes, but as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that I think that's how the city is built. I think the city is built to change every 5-10 years. You know what I mean? So I think as a younger man, I was like aggravated that my neighborhood was, changing. You know what I mean? It wasn't the same. Like, you know what I mean? It was all these new people in there that like weren't from here. But as I get older, I think I just realized that that's just what New York does. People have been coming here forever.
Right.
I mean, it's the best place in the world. Why wouldn't you come here? But I obviously do not support gentrification. You know what I mean? That shit's
gentrification
whack.
Is everywhere.
It's whack.
I'm saying like where we at right now is gentrification city.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to me to see. I mean, I'm a Queens dude, so the craziest one, because I went to high school in Long Island City. The craziest one for me is Long Island City, because Long Island City back in the day was
it was crazy.
I remember one time I got my hat robbed from me on the 7 train in Long Island City. Or maybe it was the E train. This was an old Montreal Expos hat. It was dogged for like years, and the dude just ran me for my hat. Like, it was just like anything that you had of any type of value, like, we had to fight for it. It was a crazy time. The 90s in New York City was crazy. I mean,
yeah,
you know the vibes.
Yeah, because I'm 1 year behind you, but
it was crazy.
Yeah,
it was.
Bananas.
I mean, crack epidemic was. It's so it's a little foolish of me to opine for these old days. I'm like, what do I want back? Crack era, you know what I mean? So it's like at the same time, it's like, these things that these cultural things that were very New York City are kind of like disappearing. So that bothers me. But like I said, so I kind of, as I get older, I'm like pushing and pulling with what I think. But gentrification is whack, but being safe is okay. If that makes sense.
What do you think about this COVID era we're living in? Like, how long do you think we're gonna go through this?
I mean, hopefully it's winding down. You know what I mean? I feel like it's, at least the human body is maybe getting used to it. You know what I mean? We have been exposed to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably I've had it. I had it bad. So I'm hoping. I mean, it was weird to see the way people reacted to it. I mean, it was pretty crazy. It's a crazy time. I don't
Yeah,
want.
it was eye opening. Just like people, I just think just like how people fought to like kind of like oh like if this is not happening, like you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah, it was. I mean, it also showed a lot of people's ass. You know what I mean? Like people were like, like you thought that like a dude was like a stand up dude, and all of a sudden you see what he's posting, and you're like, oh shit, this guy's fucking crazy.
mm-hmm.
You know, he's a wild. He has wild views. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean that. I think I seen it on like Instagram or TikTok or something, and it's like a dude who's just like he was I just want to stop living through historical events, and I'm with that. You know what I mean? Like there's so many, whether it be 9/11 happened, here, and then Sandy was like, because I'm from South Queens, Sandy was like really really bad from in my neighborhood, and it's like
so people like totally lost their homes.
I mean it was wild. It was a boat. It was a boat in the middle of the street. You know what I mean? So it's like, I really do want to stop going through historical events. I'm down for some chill time. You know what I mean? I'm down to just hang.
I don't think we're gonna get that chill time because
I hope so.
Because after COVID, it's gonna be something else, and then that's usually how it is. Like every 3-4 years, something comes in.
Yeah. I mean,
sad to say, but that's just how life is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm done with catastrophes though. I hope that we get a little bit of. I was so surprised to see how the different neighborhoods like dealt with it. You know what I mean? Like the neighborhoods dealt with it so different. I felt like I would as I was going to work every day, it would be like I was going from one place to the next place, and it was like three different vibes on like, like the neighborhood that was on one side of me is a very like very red neighborhood, if you want to say, and those people were like, this doesn't exist. This is a Chinese hoax. And then like people in the neighborhood that was like more dangerous, they were also like, well, cold ain't gonna kill me, so I could go outside in the street and get killed.
Yeah, bro.
And then I got to the shop where it's like more like it's becoming more gentrified, and people were like, Superman. And so it was like, only traveling 15 minutes. It's like the whole, so I can only, you gotta think about how the whole country was. It was crazy. I mean, Florida never existed. They were
I know Florida because my daughter lives in Florida, but they didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
they've been chilling without masks
the whole time. Yeah,
without
Texas
vaccinations.
Too.
They were just still having a good old time. Like they just didn't care.
I mean, I tattoo a lot of people that travel in. You know what I mean? A lot of people come travel to get tattooed by me, and a lot of the people that were like say Florida or Texas, they couldn't believe the restrictions that we had in New York City. Compared to where they were, and it was a wild time. Like I said, I never want to go through it again.
Yeah, man, bro. Like I see people get mad because they wear a mask.
Yeah, I mean,
people get mad. Like I'm like, but it's not your mask. Like, what do you care? Like,
what do you care?
Keep it moving. Like it's crazy.
Well, unfortunately, it became a political statement.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. A mask is a political statement at this point.
That and
everything. I mean, everybody's out here on social media making. I mean, I think a lot of them making fools of themselves. To be honest.
Yeah, the new thing now is gun violence because, God bless those kids who got killed, but that's the new thing now. Like, everybody they go to something, they gravitate towards something. Now it's the gun violence.
Well, you got politicians. Every politician don't give a fuck about us, so they're gonna. Whatever is gonna rile people up, that's what they're gonna run on. You know what I mean? It's like, and they know if they separate everybody, we're easier to take over.
Yeah, if we stay divided, then.
If we stay divided, I mean, I think that's exactly what happens. Even worse in these past few years. You know what I mean? Especially social media gives everybody like a little soapbox to stand on and spout some crazy shit. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like I love like the real crazy shit where they think like people are eating babies and shit. Like, I love it. I love reading about it. I like the birds aren't real.
Right.
I don't know if I mean. I like reading about all these things.
Yeah.
but I don't believe them.
Right.
But I like reading about it.
And it's out there. It's like, you can just,
it's
you can just go to somebody's profiles right there.
Somebody was just showing me one conspiracy theory. It was like I don't even remember who, but it was like they think like that Alex Jones dude was like used to be this comedian, and then he used to be I mean, it's like there are all these like doppelganger. There's some wild shit if you get deep. Wild shit. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I know I run into a lot of the COVID was a government. They brought it. They put it into the population.
Right.
And by UFOs and.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for it all to hear.
Listen, Instagram is a wild place.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
You know, I just feel bad because my kids got to go through all that nonsense and got to take something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's a good thing that people have a platform. Like, you could promote your podcast. I could promote my tattooing. Like, I try to stay, like, just on in business mode. You know what I mean? Or, just having fun.
You don't try to push an agenda.
Yeah, I was a very negative person for a long time. I was doing bad shit when I was a kid. Like, I always try to move in a positive direction now. So like, even like with the social media, but I think that like if you're already in the negative and you already like have that negative energy, you're gonna want to put that negative energy onto other people. So they use social media for that. I think that's unfortunately one of the very bad things about social media is if you got a very negative person, they could bring everybody around them down by just spreading all this negativity. I try to always move in the positive, spread positivity.
Yeah, man, you're right about that. But let's switch the subject. We were getting all serious and stuff. And I'm like, why are you talking all this serious shit? You know what I'm saying? But so you thought about doing like NFTs and stuff like that?
I did some.
Oh, you did some already?
I did some NFTs and like I did them. And
what's your thought about that? Because
I mean, I'm a hustler, and hustlers are gonna hustle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't know anything about it, but I seen people were making money, so I was like, hey, let me try to make this. I made NFTs and I sold a few, but I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. So I guess I sold some and I made money, but then they told me that I had to switch my money from one blockchain to another blockchain, some crypto thing.
Yeah.
And I ethered the money. They were like,
Jesus.
I was like, I just made it vanish trying to transfer it from one blockchain.
Hey, Josh, you ever heard about that?
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, no,
So I ethered the money. I guess I was trying to change it to one blockchain.
I never heard about money disappearing though.
Yeah, that's a bit strange.
Yeah,
I had to like make a bridge. They said I had to bridge my money from something to Ethereum, and I went to the Ethereum. I mean, it's wild. Like, I mean,
you may still have it though.
I don't know.
Yeah, because it just don't disappear.
I had a couple of homies like who know about it. Like say like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck you did, bro. I don't know what you did. You just
so you can't find it.
I can't find it.
No, so it's still there. Trust me. It just can't evaporate.
I don't know. I mean, you doing?
Yeah, but I don't do NFTs. I do more of the cryptocurrency type stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like even if you had to transfer it into something, it's still there. Like you may have put it someplace, or they have something called wallets. I know you could have put it in another wallet.
Yeah, I tried to change it to my wallet. I ethered it, but I think that that NFT. I was a big like baseball card collector, so like I kind of understand like having something that's like a collectible. Like I get it, but at the same time, it's like
literally owning a file. Almost.
It's like owning a file. Yeah, it's. But I guess that there's in the NFT world, I guess that some people are using it now to you could use it as something also. So I guess like some tattooers are using it like if you buy this NFT of this tattoo design that I did and you come to me with this NFT, I'm gonna put that tattoo on you.
Oh, word, that's dope.
You know what I mean? So it's like
what about that?
I guess they're using it's called something that when an NFT has like an extra little added bonus. I can't remember what the word for it is, but I think something like that. I mean, I think that's a cool. I mean, I would have thought if we were talking 20 years ago and you talking about the internet, I would have said, what the fuck is the internet, bro?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
what the fuck is the internet?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm never like I'm never afraid to change. You know, like there's an old saying in tattooing that you got to keep one foot in the past and one foot in the future. You know what I mean? Because people that came before you, figured out how to do a lot of things, but they also did a lot of things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So you always got to like keep one foot in, one foot out. You know what I mean? Where you always got to push forward, but don't forget what these dudes did. These men and women did back then.
Well, I'm glad you're not in crypto right now because that shit is tanking.
I mean, I threw some money at it and it's tanked bad.
Yeah, man. That crypto. Josh, how you doing in the crypto world?
I mean, I think what I think a lot of people don't realize is. Do you want me to say it in front of the mic?
Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, because he does.
So I'm not like I'm very optimistic about crypto, but I'm also like a realist at the same time. Like the thing for me is like I think like right now everyone looks at the market crashing right now, but like there's this term called zooming out. If you take a look at where crypto was 3 years ago, 5 years ago or whatever, like it's up by like, 500, 600% or whatever. I mean, I don't know how much, but like compared to where it was even a few years ago, like I have had a 401k in that time. If I were to track my 401k versus
it ain't up 600%.
Exactly. On a good year, I'll be happy that if it's up 15%, like that's a good year for me. What's going with my 401k. So when people say like it's crashing, like, well, yeah, if you got into the market, like when everybody, hopped into the market, like your average retail investor hopped into the market, then yeah, you're definitely down right now. The only thing I'll say about it is this: is just like if you've been, and the thing is like I'm not some crypto veteran either. Like I kind of got in just a little bit before everybody else did. And the thing is, like, even in that short period of time, you see it go up and down and whatnot. What I would say is, like, if you don't really have any bread, don't be putting all your money into this. Like, like they're much safer investments. Like the majority of my money is in stocks and stocks, bonds, ETFs, more traditional things. I mean, I would like to get more into real estate. Like most of my money is focused on that. However, I do think there is a lot of really interesting use cases, and I'm actually kind of connected to a lot of like the people that are creating all of these different like really amazing services on these blockchains that will make things like just simply transferring money a lot easier, getting a home loan a lot easier. Like there are people that are able to get a home loan on the blockchain, and you don't have to have any face-to-face meeting with anybody, and that's really beneficial for people of color who typically are been discouraged from walking into a bank, because they fear that they'll be discriminated against. And so it's things like that where I feel like the narrative, the general public doesn't really quite understand the full breadth of what's going on. And just like how the internet was in its beginning stages, yeah, there are scammers out here, there are Ponzi schemes out here, there are plenty of bullshit ass cryptocurrencies that are all going to go to zero. Like there's many of them are going to go to zero, and are completely, absolutely worthless because they have no real use case for anything. Like one of the things that you mentioned is like, in terms of that NFT, like, there are a lot of NFTs, don't get me wrong, like most of these art NFTs are going to go to zero. Like,
right.
It's just kind of,
this is the beginnings of it. It's the beginnings of what NFTs can be.
But NFTs can be so many things. Like you could take a piece of artwork and be like, hey, if you buy this NFT, this could be your ticket to go to my live show. This can be your thing. If you can attach a use case for it, or it's called utility. That's
utility. That's the word I was trying to figure out.
I knew the word you were trying to think of, but I was like, man, on the tip of my tongue. If you're NFTs with utility, they're going to be here to stay. Right. And not to say that if they have no utility and the artwork is really good and you already have a following as an artist, people will still buy them. Like just because it's just still art, And if it's good and you have a following and people put a value on it and it's a value to somebody, then yeah, that's how much it costs. But there's a lot of these NFTs are going to zero. But the bigger point is like when people talk about like the market crashing and whatnot, I mean, like for the people that have been in it way longer than me, they've seen the market go
it goes up
way worse than what this is right now.
I've been in crypto for a little bit. I'm not really in it, but like I threw money at it just on the strength of somebody telling me, matter of fact, I didn't do this, but at early on, one of the dudes that was working at my shop was like, yo, you should buy this Bitcoin. I was like, I'm not what is that? And he's like, you should buy it. And I think it was like, it was still in the hundreds. Wasn't even in the thousands yet. You know what I mean? Maybe it was $800 a pop or something. And he was like, yo, I'm telling you, buy. I was like, what? This is just shit. This is money to buy weed with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is just like fake digi money to buy weed with.
Early on, it kind of, you can't really lie. That's kind of what it was. I mean, like unless you were like some crypto digital currency enthusiast, you saw like a lot of the people were using this for black market stuff. So
right, yeah, like dark web or something like that. You know,
yeah.
so he told me that, and I was like, you're bugging. I'm not gonna spend $10,000 on this fake money, and I didn't do it. And then a couple years later, I'm not gonna front, I definitely got into I definitely made a bunch of money off Dogecoin because somebody was like, yo, you should get in on this because it's so I was like, yo, I messed up the last time, and then I think I made some money on the what was it, the movie theater one too?
Oh,
you know what
the
I mean?
AMC,
Like
style,
these little hustles that I hear about. You know what I mean? Like I caught a couple of those a little bit. All right.
Yeah, those the pump and dumps. That's
pump and dumps. Yeah. I mean, why shouldn't we though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Corporate America's been doing this
for a year.
They've been doing it always.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was a good time to be in the market.
You know, they've always been doing it. It's just like I would say that shit about the government too.
Thank
It's
you,
like,
Josh.
Thank you. The government is the same way. It's like as soon as they see somebody's making money off something, like the lottery is, you know, the mafia stuff, that shit. You know what I mean? Like as soon as they see, they steal that shit.
Yeah, well, there's a stock that I just saw split, Amazon split. So hopefully your guys look into that.
Yeah. I didn't get in on that, but somebody was telling me.
You can get in now. It's like $100 and change.
Oh, you got to get in now?
Yeah, it's $100 right now.
But I think if people got in that morning, somebody told me they made like
yeah, if you got in when it initially split, but it depends on what the split was. If it was like a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1.
I definitely didn't think I'd be on here talking about stocks.
Yo, I tell you, bro, this show, bro. I tell you.
But you told me free form.
Yeah,
so.
we go all over the place because
you
know, like I mess with the art world and I do the stocks and then I do a whole bunch of things. But I like to talk about everything.
Yeah.
You know, it shows, you know, you're not just what people think you are. You know, people think, oh, he's just a tattooist. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But see, that's how you get them. Like, oh, see, that's what I know. That's how you get the best out of people.
Yeah.
When they don't see it coming. They're like, yo, you heard Rich talking about stocks?
He's out there talking about Dogecoin.
You know what I'm saying? Rich is out there talking his shit right now. But yeah, no, I brought up that whole NFT thing because I do deal with a lot of artists and a lot of them are transitioning and doing the NFTs. I just wanted to know if you kind of like, you know, tested the waters, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I did sell a few. I did make a few. I sold a few. I know of a couple tattooers that are like in projects right now, active projects.
Right.
Tattooers are usually. It's funny because tattooers are like we're a group of people that are so stuck in the past, but we're usually, when it comes to a lot of the like cutting edge stuff, we're usually on that edge also. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like it's a weird lifestyle tattooing. It's a strange.
Do you ever get burnt out tattooing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've definitely went through some phases where I go on. You know, I've had a year where I think I was on autopilot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I work a lot too. Like.
Right. No, I know because even when you know we follow each other on Instagram, and bro, you're like almost like you look like you're practically booked out.
Yeah. I booked up pretty far, and I only book 2 weeks in advance, on purpose. I don't let it go any further than 2 weeks because I before I was a tattooer, I worked for corporate America, and that shit was not for me. And I became a tattooer, so I'm not chained to a desk, so. I only book out 2 weeks in advance, but those 2 weeks book up super quick when I do. But I do work 7 days a week also, so I take no days off. I take off. You know, I always say I rest when I'm dead. But I also love my job, so it's not that much. It's not that hard to do something you love every single day.
Right. And how long you had the shop? How long the shop been in existence?
The shop's been in existence since just June 2nd was 25 years, 1997.
Wow.
You know, I mean, we've been since 1997.
Sheesh. So I know you've had a lot of people.
I haven't been there since 1997.
Okay.
I started owning it. I started working there in about 01, 02.
Okay.
I became one of the owners about a decade ago. I have a partner, Dave Mowers. He's the D. I'm the R, but originally the R was this dude Rob Freund. So he left, I don't know, 2010 or something, and I took over the other half of the shop. But we've been there since 97. 25 years. We're tied for the oldest, definitely oldest shop in Queens, along with one of our homie shops, Pete and Kubo's, because tattooing was illegal until 1997 in New York State. New York City. So we all any shop that really opened was all right around June 1997. So any of the oldest shops in New York were all going to have that same anniversary date because that's when it became legal.
Yeah. So what do you like about your clientele, like your supporters and stuff like that, people that come?
I like that. It sounds funny, but because it sounds very like cliche answer, but I like that I could like do for the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of there'd be like a lot of new shops opening up and people be like, oh, are you worried about this and you worried about that? And I'd be like, I'm not really worried about them because it's really transplants, tattoo, and other transplants. So you can have all the new shops in the world open. But we've been there 25 years. We've been serving the community for 25 years. I just like that, my shop, I try to keep it real friendly. So people pop in all the time just to say what up.
Because that's one thing Josh said, like, you're very down to earth. Like,
yeah,
You're saying you have like a regular, because some tattooers are very standoffish.
They call it tattitude.
Yeah, not
they call
all,
it tattitude.
But some. He said, no, you're very down to earth.
I love it so much. Like it's like I said, it's the most important thing in my life probably, but it's a dumb job. When it's all said and done, it's not really an important work. You know what I mean? Occasionally I'll have somebody comes in that had somebody pass or something like that, and you could do something for their, for them to, put a in memory piece on them or something like that. But all in all, it's not important work.
Right.
So for anybody to take themselves that seriously because they draw pictures on people is a little crazy to me.
Right. But people are high strung. Because even that Josh was telling me a story about, I guess his dog died. And he said you guys had like a conversation about his dog. And then he was like, yo, you tatted his dog's name on him or something like that.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. And he just was like, yo, he gave a fuck. I was like, that's a dope story, bro. Like,
yeah, man. I try to, I have a hard time making money off people's sorrow, So like, I try not to, really hit people too hard or charge them at all if it's something that's like really like a sad thing that needs to be. I try to do the right thing by people.
Right. Because you also said he was into like the metal scene, the rock scene.
Punk rock, yeah, punk rock and hardcore, hip hop. I did all that stuff.
So you saw when Danny had the CBGB piece, he probably was like, oh.
Yeah, I was there. My band played there mad times. I seen so many shows at CB's. It was crazy. So that was cool what Danny did that. I had heard that's what was coming to the show, a CBGB's thing. So that was cool to see that.
Right. So did you miss all those times? Like, I know that was some cool times.
I'm still involved with punk rock. I'm still in a punk rock band. I still, I'm still pretty heavily involved with music behind the scenes on a lot of shit. So,
I see you had Danny Diablo. He was like talking to me. I guess he was in. I don't know. He was like you had him on your Instagram.
We grew up in the same neighborhood in Woodhaven, Jamaica Avenue.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
I know him for a long time.
Yeah,
I tattooed him a bunch. Just tattooed his head recently.
Oh really?
Yeah, crazy fella.
Yeah,
but he's
cool, bro.
Hardest working man in music. What I mean? That dude works hard.
Yeah, I used to manage an artist, a rapper, AG the Coroner, and we did I think he had like a festival or something you remember Santos Party House?
Yeah, Santos Party
House. He had something there, and I still got the shirt for that thing too, actually. But yeah, I saw like, that's a cool scene to be in, bro. I'm talking about just with the people you meet and interact, their interactions.
Yeah, and it was specifically the punk rock and hardcore scene was definitely the catalyst into being a tattooer, because when I used to go to CBGBs and stuff like that and see like them 30-year-old dudes, and I was jumping on the J train and the A train. I was hopping the train young and going to the Lower East Side to see, shows and stuff. So I'd go there and, see these, guys in their late 20s, 30s, so covered in tattoos. Probably why I started smoking cigarettes too. I started smoking cigarettes with all these tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, those guys are cool, and then when I became a tattooer, it was like a lot of times early on in tattooing, the hardest thing is to find people to tattoo because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I had this huge punk rock crowd that really was like, "Oh, you tattoo now? Give me a tattoo." Like the first day I was tattooing, I had people waiting. You know what I mean? Just because it was, I was involved in that music scene.
Yeah. I try to explain to people because I've been to CBGBs a lot. Like I remember I seen Korn there, and it just was like I just don't remember a lot of it because either I was drunk or the usual. But that was like I was saying, that's what I'm saying. Like that just was like a scene. Like that was a scene.
Yeah,
like,
CB's was. I mean, people don't really. It was a dump. It wasn't. They used to say that it sounded so good because the walls were filled with like dead rats and shit. You know what I mean? Like, but what people don't realize about CB's, and I like I said, I played there a bunch. I spent a lot of time there seeing shows. It was a dump that they spent a lot of money on the sound system. CB sounded great. So when you saw a band there, it was good. Sound good.
Like,
you know what I mean?
That's why the big bands would come there just to get that sound.
It like they hired like they had like a real sound man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was like, a lot of punk rock shit is like, they're flipping over the pool table and you're playing on that. You know what I mean? So it's like, like with a, plastic mic from Radio Shack. I mean, Radio Shack don't even exist anymore, but plastic mic. And then that was the punk rock show. Where CB's was actually like, it sounded great.
What was the best show you saw there that you can remember? I saw so many, and the Korn one was the best for me because they did their first album there.
I'm trying to think of the best show I seen there. I mean, I was at the infamous Bad Brains one where it was not the early one, the later one where like HR had the motorcycle helmet on.
Yeah,
I was there.
That's that's legendary right there.
Yeah, it's weird.
How did it sound?
I mean, it didn't sound like anything. You had a motorcycle helmet on.
Jesus Christ. That's like, people talk about that.
Yeah.
There's pictures of like a lot of like legendary pictures. There's a lot of photographers there at that show.
Yeah, I mean, CB's was a great spot. I used to love this place called the Bond Street Cafe. I used to love going to see Murphy's Law at the Continental. There was like a lot of like, crazy things. I've obviously love Queens, but
right.
I have a lot of love for the Lower East Side too. Like I've seen a lot of, that's a really gentrified neighborhood now.
Yeah.
Back when I used to go there when I was a kid,
right.
And then probably I started going down there in, I want to say maybe 1990, 91. You know what I mean? It was wild down there back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was the height of like, New York being rap,
Yeah, Lower East Side, man. It's just legendary down there. I always, find myself reminiscing about,
yeah,
just stuff you did, times you've been down there. Like, you could spend a whole night down there.
Oh, it was, and like, I always had that thing where it was like, I'm very, very, very from the neighborhood. So all my friends are like, like grew up with are like very, very neighborhood knucklehead type dudes. And then I was, doing art and stuff like that. And like, like I was into like this punk rock, and you know what I mean? I'm from Jamaica Avenue, I'm listening to punk rock when nobody else is listening to punk rock. You know what I mean? I'm going to high school in Long Island City. I'm listening to, punk rock while, stuff like Illmatic is dropping at this time. You know what I mean? Like this crazy shit was happening in New York City. So I was always like so stuck in like all these.
That's what I'm saying. So
when
did you segue into hip hop?
I mean, I've been hip hop fan way longer than I was a punk rock fan. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? You know, like that's my first love when it comes to music. I think I got. I think I have to say about 1984 or something like that. I started maybe 83. You know, I was 8 years old. Before that, my grandmother took me to the Museum of Natural History when I was probably 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1980, and I saw breakdancers in front. Like my
Yeah.
grandmother wanted to take me inside to see the dinosaur. I was like, I don't want to go inside. Like I want to watch it. I like to reminisce and think that maybe it was like the Rocksteady crew or something like that, like some real breakers. Like I don't know what it was. I was 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I saw that, and you know, I had a instant love. I can remember, you know, sitting on my stoop on Jamaica Avenue, listening, you know, Friday and Saturday nights. That, you know, was the only time you could hear hip hop music on the radio, and like hearing like Yo Bum Rush the Show for the first time, and like, you know, I mean, I got a little bit of chills right now just even talking about, like, you know, hearing like Chuck D's voice for the first time or something, like all that stuff. Like I had a serious love for all those things. And then when I got into around high school age, I also discovered punk rock and hardcore, and I was dipping my toe in both. I was making music. You know, I was behind the scenes making music because I'm a musician. You know, I play bass and guitar.
Right.
And so then I started getting into audio production for some hip hop stuff, which I still do a little bit now. But yeah, hip hop is my greatest love when it comes to music, for sure. Even though I play in a punk rock band, I would rather, you know.
You know, but yeah, a lot of people do both though. I noticed there's a lot of people just because they see you, you know, like they'll see you at a I was just at Calavera conspiracy show.
Okay.
That's the guys from
Sepultura, right?
Yeah. Well, they used to do Sepultura, but
all right.
Yeah, I was that then, and it's like then I'm going to a hip hop show, and it's like, you know, people just, you know, it kind of mixes them up. Like, oh, you like that, and you like that.
I mean, I think like New York hardcore, punk rock, hip hop. It's a lot of the music is very, very based in New York City, and it's just like got a vibe where it's just like it's street music for different cultures. You know what I mean? But it's all street music. You know what I mean? It's all music that comes from, you know, derived from it's the same rebellious attitude that makes, you know, that made that happen. So I think that, you know, I think that's why there may be some crossover, and especially I think New York culturally, it's just like everybody lives so close together that you can't help but, you know, every New Yorker I know that's a real New Yorker is just a mix mash of everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like throw it all in a bag, shake it up, and spit it out, and you know, it's a white dude from South Queens with a crooked Mets hat on. You know what I mean? Like it's just what it is. You know?
Nah, you're right, man. Yeah, because even like you said, like stuff was mashed up. Because like remember when Sonic Youth was out, they were like they had elements of hip hop and rock and alternative and.
It's always, I think those two musics have always dipped each other's toe. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you go back to what? Well, you go back to Fab Five Freddy being in the Blondie video. You know what I mean? Like, you know, all those different, you know, early hip hop. And if you watch some of these podcasts with some of these veterans of early hip hop coming, saying they were coming down, they were going downtown from the Bronx and playing shows with like Talking Heads and all these punk rock bands, you know what I mean? Like and all these like new wavy type of bands. So I mean, I think that there was a mesh of all that stuff, and then, you know, like anything else, it got mainstreamed, and, you know, mainstream flattened some stuff out, and you know, washed some of that shit and made it.
Yeah, because there's so many dope bands, bro. Like we can go on forever. Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
there's so many dope bands, bro. So what's next for Rich now? Like, you got the tattoos are popping, the merch is popping. What's the next? What's next for you? Like, what's in the future?
I was telling you before off air. I used to have a podcast called Neighborhood Knucklehead. I'm gonna start doing it again. Doing another podcast again. Probably gonna be mostly about New York. With one of my coworkers. So I have that in the works. I haven't thought of a name for it yet. And I'm just going to keep, you know, tattooing and hopefully get to do a little traveling once this COVID really ends, I'm probably get back on the road and do some tattoos out of state.
Like good. You do the conventions. And
I
everything?
do conventions. I haven't done them since COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of put a kibosh on it.
Because I think a lot of them were canceled, but I think the New York one is going to be.
Yeah, some of them are going on still, but it's like I just don't really want to deal with a lot of the restrictions. I want to just when I do get to go, I just want it to be free and open. You know what I mean? Like when I do travel again, I want to just be able to travel again and not think about it.
Okay. So yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up, man. We could be talking forever about. We probably gotta do a part 2 and talk about
you want.
New York culture and all these bands, because you just brought like all these bands like Luscious Jackson. You remember them?
Luscious Jackson, yeah, they were on the Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys, yeah. I remember when they first came out. It came out with they were doing shit with the Beastie Boys first.
I think the woman Kate, who was original drummer for the Beastie Boys, was also in Luscious Jackson.
Yeah, this is crazy, bro. Like it's like you said, everything's like so connected.
It's all mushed up.
You know what I'm saying?
New York City is all mushed up.
We can do a 10-hour podcast on just all this shit, and y'all don't know about it. Y'all be like, oh my gosh, for real? But anyway, yo, thanks for coming, bro. It was a pleasure, Rich.
Pleasure's mine, man.
Welcome. I'm definitely got to get a tattoo from you. I know you got a busy schedule, but I'm gonna try to get it, and I'm gonna put it on the YouTube so they can see your work. Cause it's a lot of stuff going on the YouTube. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's at RichFi, RICHFIE. My shop is R&D Tattoo, so our Instagram is RD Tattoo.
And where can they find the merch?
The merch is at www.buyrichfi.com. BYRichFi.
Okay.
And there's also an Instagram page by the same name.
Okay, so the merch has the
merch
Instagram.
has its own. Yeah, it's a different. It's an actual company.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, and you can find me on Instagram, Polo Parata, the Super Podcast, on YouTube, on Facebook. It's everywhere. Every podcast provider we're on right about now. If you subscribe to the Patreon, $5, you'll get this episode today. If not, you gotta wait till Monday at 12 o'clock. It'll be on. The audio will be on YouTube. Thank you for all the YouTube subscribers. We're well over 500,000 views for this year. So, you know what I'm saying? We're doing numbers. And I'm about to get up out of here. I'll be back soon with episode 40. That'll be the final episode of this season 4. And I'm not telling you who it is because I don't want to jinx it, but it's a good one. So, see you later, guys. Ciao.